Hello, my great Spideys. Hope everything is good. It's 2021 and we are welcomed with ES12. It's a new version of JavaScript 21. Let's get into the box and find what all are the features we will be getting in ES12. As you can see from the index, out of them, two of the features may or may not be included because they are in the stage 3 of the proposals. The promises, replace all, and numeric separators are being in the final proposal and are being currently in use. We have script engines of JavaScript for different browsers. For Chrome, we have V8 and it is also supported in Edge 18. With respect to that, we have Chakra that is only supported in Edge 18 and our favorite, a spider monkey, which is related to Firefox. Now let's move on to our promise.any feature, and it is new version of promise.all and promise.raise. In promise.any, we will be finding that all the promises once got fulfilled and it will resolve that promise. As in promise.raise and promise.all, if any of the query got unresolved, then whole promise is be rejected. So let's find out using our Visual Studio Code. Here we will be defining two const values for unsubscribed, which will be generating a promise of rejected promise. So after rejected, it will just return not user, and another const value of subscribed, which will be taking our resolved promises with those who have subscribed our channel to check whether you have subscribed or not. If not, you will be getting caught in my reject query and we will be just sending user. Let's check our promise. So first of all, we will check our promise using the previous version called raise. In this, we will be sending our array of promises. Yes, and one more promise, and after this promise, if we receive a resolved query, then we will console.log it like user is my subscriber, and catch block. Here we will be capturing all our users who haven't subscribed yet, who have not yet subscribed yet. And now let's execute this program using node.js of 15.9 version, and as you can see this as in this promise.raise, as soon as we got this unresolved query or a rejected query, this promise got rejected, and in the console you may see that user is not subscribed yet. But if we try a new promise.any, that is the feature of ES12, and as we will be executing this program, you will be getting user is my subscriber. So as you can see this from the list of promises, if any of the promise got resolved properly, then the program will execute as it is and it will not be terminated. This was the new feature that ES12 will be bringing and it's in the use. Now let's see in how many ways a promise can be executed, and we can use an async await function to evoke these promises and without async await also, as promise.any will accept any of the fulfilled promises and it will return a successful promise, and if somehow this promise got rejected in every cases, then it will generate an aggregate error. The error in the promises is also known as aggregate error. Now we have a prototype.replaceAll, that is replaceAll method. So earlier, as we were having a replace method which was capable of removing the first occurrence of the string, and we have to write some another logics to remove all the occurrences within that string. But now JavaScript ES12 is coming with a new feature named .replaceAll. Let us have a look that earlier how we used to perform this query with .replace. As assume that we used to have a string that is generated from an API call or anything, and we need to filter it by replacing those all plus signs with a space. Here we used to replace using regex code. So regex are also known as regular expression. Here we have to replace plus by a space so that we can change this query string to q is equal to query space string space parameters. And another way of doing this in a same manner is the splitting the string first from all the occurrences of plus and then rejoining it with a space. So but let's move into our code, visual code, and here we will find that how to use replace all. Let's create a string of hi, I am a Spidey and I am a great learner. Console this out, and here we can use method replace all. Here we will be replacing I am a to you are. As you can guess that what will be the result, but it's quite good to see that JavaScript do have this feature called replace all to replace all the substrings that we need from a particular keyword. Okay, we mistakenly use the repeat all method, which is not actually anything. So now as we can see this, that replace all method will replace I am a to you are. So hi, you are a Spidey and you are a great learner. So now let's move on to our next feature, that the numeric separator. Numeric separator is just like a developer friendly feature that ES12 has provided to us. As we used to have long numeric strings which are not readable by human, and we don't find that is it in a billion million values or is it a decimal value or a fraction value. So in ES12, we will have a numeric separator which will help developers to just make a variable with numeric separator, which will help developers to use the numeric separator by using an underscore. This is how we will be doing it, like underscore. So we will be storing our values. So we can use it in fractions also, decimals also, and in normal text. Let me show you using our Visual Studio Code. If I type a number that is not humanly possible to separate these into a million or billions, as we console this number, this will print as it is. As you can see this, we got the same number above it, but for the developers that are working in backend, we can use it as a separator for a numeric values so that we can guess that this is actually a billion value. Now let's run this program, and you can see this in the console. It won't be affecting our numerical values and we can use it frequently. Let's move on to our JavaScript, another feature. Though this feature is not being added to our ES12 yet, but this feature is in stage 3. So for the final proposal, we need a stage 4 to add this in our JavaScript as a feature. I find this feature to be more useful when this feature will be finally proposed. So this is a JSON method that earlier in JavaScript, if we have to import our JSON files, then we have to import them the normal file. But in this feature, the JSON format file will be imported as a module. So it will check upon the basis of object key value as a type is equal to JSON, and this will be imported as JSON value. As you can see, this is how we can import our JSON format files, and this program is for actually telling that is it a JSON format file or not. Now let's move on to our fifth feature. This is also in stage 3 and possibly be joining our ES12 as a feature, but for now I personally like this JS module block because it will provide us power to create an inline modules in JavaScript that can be created from any of the lines and can be used. This inline module of JavaScript will help us to prevent the hindrance while adopting the APIs. As you can see this, we have some of the quite implementations if possibly be released as a ES12 feature in 2021. It is proposed that JS module blocks will be used in async await manner, because these modules can also be calling out another modules, so it's better to use async await for getting a resolved promise. And module blocks are syntax for the content of the model, which can then be imported. As you can see from this line of code, that we are creating a module where we are exporting a variable value as object. In another line of code, we are importing this module using await method, and we are checking whether it is equal to object or not. This is also known as realm insertion. These were the features that are being proposed and are in use in JavaScript 2021. Hope these last two features would be added so that it would give JavaScript to import and export the modules in more efficient manner. And do comment down below the comment section that what do you think these features should be added to our ES12. Hope you got this video, that what all are the features are being added to our JavaScript 21. Let's develop something good and be great to our developer community. Let's sign off and have a good day.